Shut up and sit down.
It's Coffee with the Coaches. It's Coffee with the Coaches, episode 28. We're outside today. We're set up in the park behind the gym. It's a beautiful day out here. You may hear some traffic driving by. You may hear some ambient noise because we're trying something new. Instead of setting up at the mega desk today, we're out here in the park. My name's Michael, and the special guest today is Jackson. What's up, Jackson? Welcome to the podcast.
What's going on? Thanks for having me. It's my first time on the podcast. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. Well, so I guess you've been listening to our podcast for a while now.
I have. You know, I wanted to tune in, and it's a lot of gems that y'all drop in there also, just from, you know, being able to talk to coaches. We always see you in classes, but we never actually have a conversation with y'all.
Yeah,
so,
it can get tricky when we got 15 people in the class.
15 people. I'm dying trying to catch my breath and changing weights. I'm losing what set we on, so it'd be a lot. Sometimes there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you know the format, if you've been listening to this for a while, you know we got to start this thing with a dad joke. Did you come prepared?
I did come prepared.
All right. Let me kick one. Do you just have one, or you got two?
I have one, but maybe I can find another while you're doing yours.
Well, let me hit you with one, and then I'll turn it over to you. And then I've got a second one on deck. If you think of a second one, I won't outdo you, but I'll throw mine out, and then I'll let you come in with
one
it.
up me.
Okay, so let's see. My mom sent me this one the other day, and I thought it was really funny.
Shout out to moms.
Yeah. She said, yesterday I accidentally left my cell phone camera on, and I took a 10-minute video of my new shoes. It was some pretty good footage. My mom's the original with these dumbass jokes. So
that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad.
If you think mine are bad, you should hear hers. I usually just try to find the good ones, or at least the reasonable ones that she does. Yeah. But most of the ones she does are like real letdowns. Like you're expecting the punchline to be funny, but then it's something stupid. So
that's really what dad jokes are, though.
Exactly. That's
every
what.
Now and again, you find like some gems, but most of the time they're like, "Oh, yeah, that was corny."
All right, what you got?
Okay. Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing?
Why do fathers take an extra pair of socks when they go golfing? I don't know.
In case they get a hole in one.
Ah, okay. I'll give you a rim shot for that one.
No, can't come and get a womp on my first time.
Yeah, I should have given. Well, I think that one that my mom did was worth some applause. Yeah. Well, so let's see. You've been doing CrossFit with us now for. Are you coming up on a year?
A little over a year.
It's been over a year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's been over a year, or right at a year. It's pretty close.
I think you're coming up on a year. I can't remember. Either way, it's real close.
Yeah, it's definitely been a different experience than what I'm used to doing.
Yeah, because you got started back right around the time of the COVID pandemic stuff. Okay, so it has been a little over a year. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you think so far?
I like it so far. It's definitely a different change for me. Just doing I guess you could call it like bodybuilding stuff or hypertrophy training.
That's what you had done before?
That's what I did before here. And I wanted to do something different because my body was hitting the plateau, and I needed something else to stimulate, you know, my mind, let alone my muscles. And CrossFit was definitely on the come up, and it was something I always wanted to try. And plus, it was I had good reviews when I was looking y'all up, so I always like to find a good home, a good gym home, a good positive vibes.
Well, I know that I had made this big long post on Instagram the other day, which kind of brings us to the topic that we were going to get into on the podcast this time. But I was talking about how it can be really fun to watch your strength progression in the gym, and how a stronger body is a healthier body, and how we work on strengthening our bodies in the gym in order to reduce our risk of injury in the outside world. But in that post, I pointed out kind of the dark side of putting too much focus on progression and seeing all those numbers go up, and how if you're not careful with that mindset, how it can take over and have you pushing too hard and too fast, and can actually increase your your risk of injury if you get too deep into that. And I think a lot of people have dealt with this over time, and I wondered if you had any good stories about this topic, especially since you've been in the fitness space for a while. You've been doing you know, if you've been doing CrossFit for over a year, but you've been lifting weights much longer than that, and so I wondered if you had anything to add to this topic.
I'm very competitive, you know. I like to have a good time. It was actually right before my first meet with y'all that I had to catch myself, I guess, me having more experience, that I was, when you was back spotting me when we were doing my back squat, and I was doing 365 and I was struggling on that second rep. I wanted to push it more, but like my legs was hurting.
Was this when you were in training for the meet, or was this at the actual meet?
No, it was like that Monday. Remember I asked you to spot me, and it was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it was like, then I felt like I couldn't push anymore. I should have pushed more, but I feel like I probably would have ended up hurting my legs if I was doing it. Then not even on that. Then I was deadlifting the same day. Then like stuff wasn't moving good for me that day. So I decided just to dial it back and just start knocking out some reps, more or less, of more weight pushing. Just try to keep my body moving before the meet. And actually on meet day, I was moving a lot of more weight compared to risking an injury, trying to push it. I need to hit this certain number before I meet, so I know I can make that money on the meet day, instead of just worried about my open. Yeah. I was more or less looking forward to what is my max rep would be instead of what my open would be.
Yeah. So you kind of got ahead of that mindset then, and kind of felt that you might be pushing it too far, and you were able to catch it and pull it back.
But everybody doesn't have the lifting experience that like either you or I, you know, somebody has more experience than us, will have that mindset, because you do get caught up in the numbers, seeing being so excited, yeah. Then you see your old max, and me being competitive, like I got to beat that. That sometimes it just doesn't happen. You know, had a long day at work, didn't get no sleep, didn't have enough food before you came in. It's just different things you got to realize before you start doing PR stuff.
Yeah, and all those things you just listed are really good points, and they're all things to consider when it comes to this stuff, because, you know, there's tons of reasons why 200 pounds might feel way heavier today than what it did yesterday, but it's hard to remind yourself of that sometimes, because, you know, you get caught up in that idea of progression and you just want to beat what you did before, and the competitive mindset takes over. So, you know, I think these are really good things to talk about, and it's things we should talk about more often, because progression is good to a point, but you gotta really understand the big picture, because, you know, you got approximately 100 years on this planet. So, you know, if you get caught up in a 6-week strength cycle, you know, you can really you can jack yourself up without thinking about the big picture like you should be.
Years off.
Yeah, because really, and I preach this a lot when it comes to CrossFit training and training for health and fitness and things like that, is, you know, we're all here for the improvement of our life, for the improvement of our health, for the improvement of our mobility. So you got to be careful not to accidentally let it go the other direction by pushing yourself too hard or getting too caught up in competitiveness.
Or get too cocky as a new movement. That's the one thing I have done before. You get used to movement. Oh, yeah, I can do this. Start adding some more weight. Then bloop. Oh, that didn't feel good. Or you hear a pop, or you go down too deep too fast. It's just, you know, you just got to be careful. I mean, it's always great to see your numbers go up, but we're all here for the overall health of our bodies, just to get something moving, just to add some extra years, not subtract years.
Yeah, and that's a tough one for us guys too. Just, you know, it's that competitiveness of getting in the gym and lifting weights with other guys. You know, you start feeding off of each other's energy, and, you know, things can go sour quick if you're not careful.
Yeah, you know, shout out to the 330 class.
Yeah.
Me and Sam and Cody is always good for that kind of stuff, feeding off each other. I mean, but we always try to, you know, watch out for each other. You know, you always, and that depends who you're working out with also. How hard they push you. If they willing to do you know, put too much weight in the bar, you got to be willing to know, like, I need to back out some. Yeah, personal responsibility is as important as anything. You know, you can have the best friends in the world, but they may not know exactly where you're coming from, and so you got to be able to say, "Hey, I'm not doing that today." Yeah, ego lifting is a real thing.
Yeah,
ego lifting is really a real thing.
And hey, we got a surprise guest to the podcast. Courtney just got off work, and she's jumping in with us. Welcome, Courtney.
Hello.
Here, throw some headphones on.
Welcome.
So, Courtney, just to catch you up, we're talking with Jackson about the post that I made on Instagram last week about progressive strength training and how it can get away from you pretty quickly if you're not careful. And How kind of just talking about the overall picture of why we're here, why we do the things that we do, and how it's all to strengthen our body and reduce our risk of injury. But we're talking about how if you're not careful, that competitive mindset can take over, and you start pushing numbers too fast or get too wrapped up in the idea of needing to progress every time, and you actually increase your risk of injury by doing that. So, do you have any experience with this in the past?
Been there, done that.
Well, Jackson told us a little bit of his story. Do you got anything you might throw in on this as far as things you've struggled with in the past, or maybe how you have gotten a better handle on it now that you have been doing it for quite a while? Because you've been at this for damn near as long as I have. I guess we're coming up on 9-10 years of doing CrossFit.
Long time.
It's a long time.
And I still can't do muscle up.
Get a little closer.
I'm not sure if I have anything super specific as far as like strength training or something like that, but I definitely can understand that kind of the all or nothing mentality with that.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
You know, like, well, if I can't hit my PR today, then I'm just not gonna lift. You know, I'm just not gonna try. Basically, if I know I don't feel good, you know, sometime, or I have definitely done that in the past where I just didn't try. But I feel like you could definitely translate that kind of line of thinking like into diet, like. You know, if I don't hit my macros just right, then I'm just not going to do it.
That's a really good comparison and a really good point, because this does go all kinds of different directions. You know, we can talk about strength progressions, but, you know, when it comes to diet, the same thing applies. If you let that mentality of constantly trying to push and get better every single time, like, it can get away from you quick, and you can forget how important it is to just do...
To practice,
baby steps. You know, just practice. That's a really good one.
It's the baby steps how you get to the bigger picture. It's just a lot of different combination of things to get you to that PR. Then it's like you also got to think about the mental part of it. Then if you don't reach that PR today, you know, does that make it affect you want to come back to the gym because you're not seeing yourself getting stronger, or you couldn't even do what you did 6 months ago? It's also a thing that you got to think about as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I think the older you get, probably the more important this type of topic becomes, because, you know, like, the more experience you have with something, the more you're going to have to kind of reflect on what you've done in the past, and, you know, how you know, things you might have accomplished when you were focusing strictly on that, as opposed to, you know, different priorities as you get older, right?
Yeah, and I think that also applies to like your fitness journey in general. Like, as you have been doing it for a long time, you know, like, you know, 5 years ago, you had a PR of a 210-pound snatch, but, you know, this week you could only do 175. You know, maybe you're not being as focused on it, or, you know, maybe you don't care to lift 210 pounds for your snatch, you know? Yeah. So I think that it's a really good thing to just keep in mind, and kind of keep that at the forefront, that just because you did it in the past doesn't mean that you're going to be able to do it today, or that you're going to even want to do it today.
You know, that also, you're more than your numbers that you max out at as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it's like,
that's a very important thing to keep in mind.
Because I get caught up on that, watching, you know, the other bigger guys on Instagram. Like, man, I ain't even lift this much. I got to get there, and I got to chase this, that. I mean, all that is good motivation and stuff like that, but it's also, some of that stuff is unrealistic. Some of those guys on juice and stuff like that, I just got to stay focused on what I need to do, you know.
Yeah, that's a really good one, just talking about the comparison trap. You know, when you start getting on Instagram, it doesn't matter if you're talking about strength or you're talking about diet. There's so many ways you can derail yourself by getting into that comparison trap. That's a good comparison, or a good parallel.
I even feel like Instagram, like, we're just going to talk about social media for a second.
Yeah, let's go for it.
Because I feel like, you know, with Instagram and stuff, it's really easy to get caught up in, like, just FOMO from Instagram. If you're surrounding yourself with images of, you know, people on the beach all day, every day, and they, like, are not working, they're just posting about being on the damn beach, you know, you start thinking, well, why can't I be on the beach? Why am I not on the beach? Why am I not sipping cocktails and not having to work? You know? And I feel like it can be detrimental. So, you know, we also have to be careful with how much of that kind of stuff we consume, and definitely diversify the things that we are looking at on social media. Because I don't know about you guys, but I still like social media, even though politics and, you know, our grandparents are on the face space and all that stuff, you know, but I still like to try to diversify what it is that I'm seeing, like different topics, so I'm not just like having FOMO all the time. You know, I'm not looking at Fitspo images of these girls with, you know, 12-pack abs and being like, why can't I be like that? I've been doing CrossFit for 10 years.
Some of that stuff is, like I said, it's unrealistic because they, you know, to the degree that they want to work out and eat at, it's not. I like cookies and cakes. I'm not giving that up. I'm sorry. I'm just not. It's like, you can't pay me enough to give those up. It's like, so I just got to find balance between. At the same time, I try to diversify what I watch on Instagram too, because you are what you put in. You know, you steady surrounding yourself with negative energy and stuff like that, that's what you're going to attract. So I just try to diverse myself between things that I like and things that I love.
Yeah, I've had kind of a love-hate relationship with social media over the last few
Mostly
years.
hate.
Yeah, it's been mostly hate. But, you know, I definitely recognize that there are positives that do come to me from social media occasionally, but I've been a little too focused on the things that are just aggravating me here the last year or so maybe, but I've been spending much less time on it. Just for a lot of the reasons that you pointed out, just, you know, if I'm feeling FOMO every time I get on there because it's just frustrating me, then, you know, that's not energy I want to put into my life. You know, you said something that I kind of live by. I remember my grandpa saying, garbage in, garbage out. You know, if you keep putting things into your brain that are upsetting you for whatever reason, that affects the way you interact with life. You know, you start putting that stuff out, and so I recognize that in myself in terms of social media. So I've been really limiting my Instagram time and my Facebook time much more here recently.
Yeah, I've definitely been limiting Facebook, but not Instagram as much. I used to be a Facebook-only girl, but Facebook really has become such a shit show that I may be on it for like 20 or 30 minutes a day tops, and I spend much more of my time on Instagram looking at those beach pictures.
Wishing we had a beach close.
Yeah.
There's some brown water, the Kahlua colored waters
of the Mississippi River.
Yes, of the Mississippi River.
I'm all right. I think I passed on that.
Well, I can't believe what a nice day we've actually got today. So Jackson rolled up on the motorcycle to do this podcast. And
how jealous are you?
I'm incredibly jealous.
We can swap. I'd love to drive that Charger.
He's been trying to get me to let him buy a motorcycle for like the last good while, and I'm like,
you're acting like you've got my hands cuffed.
I mean, both y'all can ride together, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
See, it's been a nice day outside. Y'all could have rolled together, wind in the hair, you know, getting your Baywatch on and stuff.
Jackson's got his head shaved, talking about the wind in his hair. What are you talking about, your beard?
Aerodynamic.
Yeah, I'm definitely jealous on a day like this.
Yeah, it was nice to have it out here. You know, we got a nice breeze. It ain't too scorching hot. It usually it's scorching hot, and the humidity's been ridiculous lately, last couple of weeks. But this week and last week's been nice.
So did you drive up from Caruthersville?
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
Yeah.
God bless. How long of a drive is that?
On my bike or on a car? It takes me like maybe 45 or 50 minutes in the car. And a bike,
maybe we got cops that listen to this.
Because there was a cop behind us. Go watch your business.
Well, that's still less time than I thought. I thought it was like an hour and 20 minutes or something.
Oh, no, I think it's an hour. It takes me an hour and 20 minutes to get to Dexter from Caruthersville.
Oh, okay.
So, getting to know you a little bit, Jackson, what is it you do for work? Don't you drive? Are you a delivery driver? I know you told me you had to run up to St. Louis today and then come back down.
Yeah, I got a call from. Only thing I like about my job is like I get like on-call stuff like late at night. So I had to deliver a wound back up to St. Louis, It's what they use to take out the blood and clean out the wound, stuff like that. It's something like things I deliver is stuff they need now, and that kind of is good, but it sucks at the same time. It's not like, oh yeah, can I do it in the morning? It's not. It's like, so sometimes I do a lot of 15 to 16-hour days. Ooh. And sometimes like it sucks, but I also try to think of the back end. I'm actually helping somebody's parents because I got like 20 or so nursing homes under me, so I got to make sure I'm on top of everything. It comes to oxygen and having everything on hand what people need. If not, I gotta go down to Little Rock to get it, and that's 3 or 4 hours the opposite direction I need to go most of the time.
Okay, so you deliver like medical devices to nursing homes, and so it's like wound vacs and oxygen and
BiPAPs and kangaroo pumps and stuff like that. Stuff they actually need like right this second. We're like the last stop between us and hospice is kind of the last 2 stops. So I do a lot of, hand in hand with hospice stuff.
Okay. Well, getting those calls in the middle of the night, I guess you just got to pump yourself full of coffee or pre-workout and just hit the road, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought about something funny because one time I grabbed a wrong energy drink.
Oh.
And I grabbed an actually workout energy drink. So I'm in my work truck curling myself up. I had all this beta-alanine, and I was like, I got to do something. I got a 4-hour drive, but it kept me up. But like, I was in there sweating, and I'm curling the machine and stuff. It was just a bad time. I know now to read the back of a can before I drink it now.
Well, there's one of the police officers that works down somewhere in your neck of the woods. He was telling me about the 18-hour shifts he has to work, and he was talking about a very similar story. He said he was just having to drive around, just stay awake, and he accidentally took something with a bunch of beta-alanine in it and just was crawling and itching in the car, like
itching
just driving him crazy.
Yeah, it's like just itching to get out and do something because that, man, some of that beta-alanine is like you about to rip your face off if it's strong enough.
I can't do that stuff, man. I drink a cup of coffee and I'm as jacked as I need to be.
Listen, Brockhammer ruined me one day. She gave me, I think it was like half of the amount of a serving size of pre-workout would be. She was like, oh, just drink this, it'll be a little bit. And I only had half of that. And I thought my scalp was going to come off. Like, I'm pretty sure that was the day that I ran with Earl Levitt, who is, like, taller than Michael, and I kept up pace with him.
The magic of pre-workout,
yeah, for real. But I laid on the floor after that. I was like, my scalp is off.
Oh, it's always funny when people first start CrossFit. They come in with some kind of pre-workout, and I'll tell them, hey, don't do that on day one. And then sometimes they'll do it anyway, and what happens is it spikes their heart rate before they ever even start working out. And so then if they're doing some high intensity or higher intensity for the first time, they get to where they feel like they're going to throw up within the first 5 minutes. So I always try to talk people out of it unless they're very experienced with whatever exercise they're about to do. You don't want to try a new pre-workout and a new exercise routine in the same day.
Yeah, that's definitely a bad idea.
PSA to the newbies.
Yeah,
if you're listening to this, don't try both of those things on the same day.
Definitely don't, because you will have a bad time.
Yeah, I can't even drink a full Mountain Dew because that'll get me jittery. I guess my tolerance just isn't what it is for some people.
We don't drink that much soda, but I would have some Coke Zeros because I love me some Diet Coke. But I even stopped drinking that because I had the caffeine in it, and I was just trying to lower my caffeine intake so I would sleep better and just be more, alert without the caffeine, not be jittery and stuff. So then I started drinking orange soda or root beer, Fresca, and then I just haven't even been drinking any of that lately. And so I was like, well, I'm going to try these seltzers. I always hated seltzers. But I think it's been a month or two since I've had an actual soda, and the seltzers are tasting pretty good now. So I don't know if you guys have anything that your taste buds change on, but
oh yeah, for sure.
Yes, it's an older year for sure. Some things I don't eat as much of now. I don't. Back then when I was young, I used to drink a lot of sodas. Now I don't even. It's not even soda in my house unless I'm sick. Yeah. That's usually how you can tell if I'm sick. I have a Sprite in my hand. But other than that, I can't do sodas. I mean, I'd rather take a shot of bourbon or something. It feels the same. It's but I don't know. I'm just not a big, huge soda guy. And that's definitely a taste that's been changed over the years. That and sweet tea.
Well, let's see. I guess Courtney, before you walked up, we were talking a little bit about the powerlifting meet that Jackson got in on for the first time. So I guess to jump back on that for a second, you did your first powerlifting meet. I think it went really well from my perspective. I'd love to hear your perspective on it. What'd you think about it?
I had an awesome experience. Like I was nervous, excited at the same time. There was a lot of emotions going on. I wasn't sure what I was going to lift. Looking at the other lifts, and we was all warming up together. It was a great experience. If you have never done it, at least try it. You know, it's not always about, like Michael would tell me, it's not about winning. It's just the whole experience.
Oh, yeah.
I learned a lot from it.
I'll jump on that real quick. Like, if you're thinking about trying it, do not go in expecting to win or do well or anything. As long as you go in just expecting to try it and have fun, you might actually like it. But if you go in expecting to win, I can guarantee you won't like it.
Yeah, because it's kind of a letdown because a lot of that, especially depends on what weight class you are as well.
Of course.
And it's a lot of people been doing it, like you was telling me, certain lifts for a long period of time, and so they'll be better at you than that. But that's to come back to the number game. You can't let that defeat you from your purpose. Actually, just trying, it's just for experience. And I never knew I would love low bar squatting until I started training with you with it, and that's all I squat now. Yeah. It's low bar squat.
Some people really love it.
Okay, I gotta ask about the curl competition. I know you were the only one that ended up signing up for it, but I feel like that got the most hype.
It really did. I think most people don't realize that exists in powerlifting, so most people don't sign up for it. But man, it caught some hype. It was really fun.
It was fun. I was kind of surprised I curled 135.
Yeah. Channeled your inner CT Fletcher on that one.
Right?
It was good.
Like, oh man, that's all I was thinking about when I was like curling and training. I was oh man, it's CT Fletcher style right here. Back on the wall.
Yeah.
It was fun. I was hoping somebody else would sign up for it, but it might get some more people to sign up next time because when I bought that whole package, it was just included. And that's when I asked you about it. I said, it's a curling because I was reading it and I wasn't sure. So I don't know, we talked about the big three, but the curling thing was just a bonus. I was like, I'll do it. It's whatever.
Well, so what do you think? Are you wanting to do it again next year? Or
I would definitely do it again next year.
You are?
Yeah. I definitely sign me up every year.
All right, good deal.
Because it's fun. I mean, then you get to see a lot of people that you don't usually see.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'll get opponents from the other lifters. You wouldn't think you would do that because you actually competing against them, but they want you to be at your best. And I can respect that. And I want you to be at your best as well. If I can see me correcting you, to make you lift more, I want you to be at your strongest when I'm going against you. I guess that's just a competitive thing.
Yeah. It seemed like everybody had a lot of fun. We had several lifters that were doing it for the first time. And as far as I know, they all had a really good experience. I know that Jason, for instance, he really loved it. And I think you guys might have been in the same weight class. The guy with the beard, the tattoos, he really had a good time with it. And then Natalie, this is probably her third or fourth one at this point. But, yeah, they all just really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a good amount of people that actually showed up and did it, too. I wasn't sure. I was asking how many people's coming. You was like, you wasn't sure they had to tell you. It was still a good amount. I think it was about 15 or 16.
I think so. But we definitely had some last-minute sign-ups because they really held on until the end for this one because I think we were only 6 or 7 people pre-registered. But then we had a bunch more that signed up right at the very end. So I'm not going to lie. I was getting nervous. I was like, man, is this meet going to be a flop? But yeah, we had several signups at the end.
There was that one guy that signed up the night before.
The guy with the
ponytail.
Braids. Yeah.
He did have braids.
Yeah, the one that sat in the corner over the
Yeah, he was one of the judges, I think.
Was it?
I think so.
I thought he had that black and red suit on. I think that was brothers, I thought.
I think he was friends with the judges or related to one of the judges or something like that.
Okay. Well, I do remember him sitting on that side, and so
yeah, do you realize how young he was? I think that guy was 19, 20.
You're lying.
He was super young.
I thought this man was 35.
Well, I thought the same thing, but then the judge that I guess that he was related to was telling me how young he was. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I was like, there's no way this dude's 19.
Yeah, he looked a lot older than that. And shout out to that young girl that was lifting too. She was 16 and she was moving some weight too.
From Jackson, from Old
girl
Orchard.
That came
Shout
down
out.
from Jackson. She brought the crew, man. She had a whole bunch of people with her.
They had the posters with the little pom-poms on it.
She's going places. She keeps lifting like that to be 16 and pushing that much weight.
And with that kind of support system too, she's got people in her corner. Well, I guess we better wrap this up because we're coming up on 3 o'clock, and the church bells over there are about to go crazy. It's going to ring for about a minute and a half, so we better cut this off because we won't get an option to once those bells start ringing. So, I don't know. You
don't want the listeners to hear ding dong, ding dong.
It just goes. It's super loud because we're really close to the bell tower. So, I had to try to squeeze this in between the hours so that we wouldn't get overwhelmed with noise.
Okay. Love you. Bye.
Well, you guys got any words of wisdom for the sign off?
Don't eat yellow snow.
Yeah, not recommended for yellow snow.
Well, as nice as it is right now, I'm not even thinking about snow.
I was thinking about snow last week.
Really? This early?
Yes, it was hot as hell.
Wishing for snow to come.
Yeah.
They even wishing for summertime. That's how that goes. So.
Yeah.
Well, all right, we're gonna wrap it up here. So we'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.
These headphones are the worst.
You just have the smallest head.
Like, seriously, like I can't even keep them on the top of my ears start hurting because that's what's holding them up.
Well, they call these things self-adjusting, but they offer no support whatsoever. So
Like
they are-
this?
they are not.
Yeah, 'cause mine's like it's barely on top of my ear.
Well, I guess my head is wide enough that the compression
Yeah, that's kind of
holds it
why
on
mine's
my ear.
a little wide.
But yeah, the top really is just free flowing.
Yeah, like this is probably where it would be. Like, and you can see the top of my ears.
Yeah, you could. It's clearly poking out.